along than Quinnipiac right now. They have more MAC series under their belt. And maybe the biggest difference between these two games, as we have two broadcasts tonight and tomorrow, is the experienced Monmouth side. Their older guys are playing very well.
And Deion Hammond leading the way for Monmouth, but it's other guys too. Malik Martin's coming off a tremendous weekend. George Pappas shooting the basketball well. Marcus McClary back in the starting lineup tonight for the Monmouth Hawks, playing his role well too.
Your Jersey Mike's starting lineup for the Quinnipiac Bobcats. The leading scorer is Taimu Shinnery, the freshman from Philadelphia. It's a big front line for Quinnipiac with Shinnery, Rigoni, and the big man in the middle, 7-foot sophomore Seth Pinckney.
Pinckney's an interesting player, fun guy to watch. Obviously, a shot blocker around the rim. He throws it up. If you throw it up to him, he's probably going to throw it down.
Yeah, something that Quinnipiac is known for is shooting the three, as Tyrese Williams knocks one down from deep. They're not as adept this year at doing it. More stuff we'll talk about over the next two games, but don't be mistaken. They can still let it fly, and Williams is a good shooter.
And that's the way they want to play. They want to spread you out. They want to share the basketball, and they want to put threes up. And Tyrese Williams is a guy that came into this game expected to make threes for them this year. He's 3 of 18 on the season, but good start for him in this one.
And this is the end of the floor where Quinnipiac has maybe improved the most. Coming into play this weekend, they're the number 1 scoring defense in the MAC. Great matchup, as Monmouth is the number 1 scoring offense in the MAC. We could play that whole strength-on-strength broadcaster speak thing if you want, as Williams is long on his second attempt.
Well, it's no surprise that when you have a 7-footer guarding the rim, that typically helps your defense. They're also put together a little bit differently than they have been in the past, Quinnipiac has, and they're back playing man-to-man. They're a big zone team last year.
That was Monmouth freshman Miles Ruth off on a 3. Here's Savion Lewis, the nice move down low, too strong. And the rebound to Monmouth senior Malik Martin. Monmouth's Deion Hammond, maybe too far under the rim. Pinckney gathers another rebound for Quinnipiac, who normally used to like to really push the pace. This team, a little differently, as they'll get into the half court.
And I'm excited to see this guy right here with the basketball, Savion Lewis. Man, good call, moving screen. That gets called all the time now with that dribble handoff and ball screen action. That moving screen seems to be a point of emphasis in college basketball the last few years.
Well, Seth Pinckney not only was called for that foul, but not looking 100% as he leaves the game. And as he leaves, they'll bring in redshirt freshman J.J. Riggins. You see Pinckney there. I think he took the worst of that collision with Lewis right on the hip.
And it's amazing, right? One sub in and Pinckney comes out. Quinnipiac looks a lot smaller without Pinckney on the floor.
Shinnery draws the assignment of Hammond. Good creativity, but he can't finish.
Oh, Monmouth's gotten some attempts here at the basket, just unable to finish early on.
Quinnipiac 3-3. Mentioned in the open that their last series was their MAC opener. They did play some non-league games early before being on pause. A tough shot by Rigoni is missed, and Marcus McClary pulls down the rebound for Monmouth. A Euro step in the lane for Miles Ruth, and he makes it 3-2.
Miles Ruth continues his great play as a freshman and has turned a lot of heads in his time here in West Long Branch. 61% shooting from the floor heading into this game. A tremendous finisher as a freshman point guard when he gets into the lane.
Foul called on Ruth, but he comes into play tonight shooting 61% from the floor. And Monmouth, Steve, if you look at their numbers and their efficiency on offense, top field goal team in the MAC, top 3-point field goal team in the MAC. And they score about 80 a game. Lewis getting all the way to the right block, but threw it away. The aforementioned Ruth making the play. Hammond pull up from the free throw line.
But that is something that Ruth has done since game 1 of this season. He is a guy that gets his hands in the passing lane, causes deflections and steals, and then able to get out and run.
Yeah, Tyrese Williams not on the same page with J.J. Riggins, and that turnover will give it back to Monmouth. Quinnipiac will bring in freshman Bol Akat, the point guard, while Monmouth will bring in its point guard, who started last year and now is coming off the bench for King Rice, and junior Sam Chaput. Two long rivals just feeling each other out in the early minutes of game one this weekend. An offensive foul will be called on Monmouth's Dion Hammond. Shinnery, the player that drew it.
Well, you see Shinnery, who's Quinnipiac's leading scorer on the year, a 6'6", nice frame, pretty long player, and he's guarding Dion Hammond, Monmouth's leading scorer. And Shinnery, a big reason why Quinnipiac better defensively, and looks good, and he's getting after it, and I see him in passing lanes, denying Dion the basketball.
So with Lewis on the floor, or on the bench rather, Akat will run the show. Gets an open look for Rigoni, and one of the most consistent shooters in the MAC knocks it down.
A big story going into this game for Quinnipiac is that they're not shooting the ball as well from three as they normally do, but they're two veterans to start this game, Tyrese Williams, Jacob Rigoni, off to a hot start.
And then Monmouth's Nikkei Ruddy with the short misses. Here come the Bobcats. Shinnery, tough take. This is what Monmouth wants to do as they get out and run. Good transition defense by Quinnipiac as Pappas will get inside, whistle, and a blocking foul called right under the Bobcats' basket. Good start to this one for Quinnipiac. Traditionally one of the best three-point conference with 8. I think this is starting to sort itself out, but Steve, those three teams at the very top of the standings right now appear to be playing the best basketball. We're all excited to see Iona get started again soon.
And I think right now those three teams are kind of separating themselves into almost a tier 1 of the MAC standings, and they all kind of have that alpha-type player. For Iona, Isaiah Ross has been playing tremendous before they had to go on pause. Monmouth's got Dion Hammond, and of course Siena's got Jalen Pickett, and I think that really helps. Especially as that season goes on, you get into tournament play, you got to rely on your alpha dogs to carry you.
You know, Pickett most recently missed some games with, I believe it was a hamstring or thigh injury. Did you see the debut of Aiden Carpenter? He looked fantastic.
Yeah, just another piece to the puzzle up in Albany for those guys, and they're certainly loaded. They got a lot of firepower.
Three-pointer, too strong from Matt Belunk. And then back the other way. Monmouth being pretty sloppy with the basketball in the early going. Good Quinnipiac hustle. Free throws coming for the Bobcats.
Quinnipiac looks the team like a little bit like they have sense of urgency right now. They have the focus. And to me, Monmouth has forced a couple drives. They've missed some contested shots at the rim. And right now, Quinnipiac looks like the team that is coming in here on a mission, now in their second MAC series of the season.
Pappas just a little careless, and then Pinckney earning this trip to the free throw line. Pinckney's one of the best shot blockers in the conference, but going 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Here's a nice touch as well around the basket. Monmouth's checked in Donovan Totley as they throw it down low to Ruddy. Totley using Ruddy. Shot clock to 8. He's being chased by Brendan McGuire. Ruddy goes right at Pinckney. Totley thought about it. Now tries one that's too strong, and the rebound comes down to Akat.
That's an interesting matchup right there. Totley, 5'8". Brendan McGuire, much bigger and taller, 6'8", 6'9" guy. Totley has shown, though, that he can create space really against anyone.
3 from the wing. Good for their leading scorer, Taimu Shinnery. Hammond back the other way, entering with a dunk.
Just great job by Monmouth. Quinnipiac has really started this game well on both ends of the floor, knocking down shots from the outside, but Monmouth able to get that ball out of the rim, up the sideline, and Hammond able to finish. I know coaches get frustrated when that happens to them, and credit for the Hawks to get that ball out and up the court. And that's a great sideline advance to get Hammond on the run.
And Monmouth goes so quick after an opponent's made shot. Tyree Pickron is checked in for Shinnery. And Monmouth has also checked in Gob Gabriel. And Gabriel's played very well, draws the assignment of McGuire. The Lunk's going to let fire.
Eddie, maybe I'm nitpicking here, but I think when the ball's bouncing around, I want to get it and go. Especially a team like Monmouth, I want to get that basketball, outlet it, and let Monmouth run in transition. That's when they're at their best. I don't want teams to set up their defense.
Ruddy, the contested catch. Has it poked away from behind. Here's McGuire. Multi-talented Brendan McGuire. One-handed pass to Belanc. Beautiful splitting of the defense by Akat. No one can grab it. Here comes Chaput. Totley has it poked away by McGuire, but he's whistled for the foul.
I think you got to credit the Bobcats early on in this game. Pretty scrappy, getting their hands in there. A lot of deflections. And like we talked about earlier, they're a man-to-man team this year. They were more of a zone team last year, and you can tell that they play defense with a different type of intensity this season.
Monmouth has checked in freshman Miles Foster. The Quinnipiac has brought Riggins back in, totally getting inside. Another opportunity at the rim for Monmouth. They're now 2 for 11.
Monmouth has had a lot of opportunities very close to the rim, but for the most part, they've been actually contested shots.
McGuire with a great ball fake, and he makes it 12-5.
Well, Brendan McGuire is certainly the X factor for Quinnipiac, and I think he needs to play more and have the ball more in his hands where he's not viewed as an X factor anymore.
Go from being an X factor to just being a really good player?
Yes.
A Hammond with the block of McGuire. Here comes Gabriel. Ahead to Totley. He's left alone for three. Foster, the rebound. And can't get the putback as well. A lid on the Monmouth rim right now as they have struggled in the first 8 minutes.
And Baker Dunleavy tells his guys, let's calm down, let's run some offense.
There's McGuire with Hammond, loses it out of bounds. So we mentioned how Quinnipiac is improved defensively, and they're showing it in the first 8 minutes here in the first.
Savion Lewis, once he gets rolling, can really start scoring the ball at even a higher rate. Obviously, a guy who comes in to college with a huge reputation of being able to score the basketball. I know he sat out and he got hurt. Now healthy this season.
Yeah, he came in, like you said, after winning New York Mr. Basketball out in the middle of Long Island. Red-shirted, was injured, finally gets a healthy season under his belt. You mentioned Rich Kelly, by the way, scoring 11 a game at Boston College. He had 27 the other night against Miami.
Rich Kelly showed that he's a big-time player. And halfway through last season, Rich Kelly might have been the player of the year in the MAC. And just a high-efficient player, tremendous shooter, got guys involved. You know, Eddie, we talk about the shooting problems that Quinnipiac has been having. You know, Jacob Rigoni on the season right now is shooting 23% from three going into this game. He might be the one suffering the most of Rich Kelly transferring. He got so many great looks from Kelly creating offense for him.
Well, here he got Marcus McClary in the air, and he'll earn 2 free throws. You know, those numbers for Rigoni really are an anomaly. He came into this year as a career 40% three-point shooter. So consistent in his time. And I think you make a great point. You know, now when guys leave, other guys have to do other things. And Rigoni's a career about 10-point per game guy, and now leading, you know, this younger kind of evolving group for Baker Dunleavy.
No, in the last few years, Rigoni played a great role for them, you know, surrounded by a guy like Rich Kelly, and a couple years before that, Cam Young, player of the year and such a high scorer. He was in a perfect role to be able to spot up and knock down open shots.
And we just witnessed something, by the way, that hasn't happened all year. You know what that is? Jacob Rigoni missed the free throw.
How about that?
He's now 15 of 16 from the line as Monmouth Sam Chaput snaps a long field goal-ish drought and makes it 13-7.
That's a good shot from Chaput, and good for him to get some confidence rolling. He's really been struggling to find his shot this season.
Well, now he guards Lewis with a nice cross-court find to pick run inside the arc from the elbow.
That's a tremendous closeout. Gob Gabriel.
And playing really great basketball in his sophomore season as Chaput just scored but then turned it over.
I say this, when guys try to make multiple moves, that's when you get called for a travel. That was ball fake, jab step, ball fake, shot fake, multiple moves, travel. Catch, rip, and go, catch and shoot.
And Quinnipiac will check out Riggins and Pickron. And Pinckney returns, and in for the first time, freshman Louis Courtright for Quinnipiac, making his third appearance of the season. There's Lewis backing down on Chaput, and then an offensive foul will be called on Savion Lewis.
The emergence of Miles Ruth and what he does defensively for Monmouth has kind of overshadowed. Sam Chaput was actually a really good on-the-ball defender at the point guard position. He might not get the same amount of steals that Miles Ruth is getting, but he's a tremendous on-the-ball defender.
Midway point first half. Totally a wild take to the basket that Rigoni rips down.
Yeah, just not a good shot there from Totally. And Monmouth, again, has taken a lot of contested shots. I know they've been getting close to the rim, but they're still pretty contested.
That was a contested take by Lewis, and that's his strength, going to the basket.
And Savion Lewis so quick with the basketball. I think he'll get better as this season goes along, as he gets more and more comfortable.
Miles Ruth going right at Pinckney as both he and Courtright were there. It'll stay with Monmouth, 14 seconds to shoot.
Early on, this has been a stellar defensive performance by the Bobcats.
Well, Monmouth's the top scoring offense in the league. They score about 80 points a game through the first 11 and a half. They are being limited to just 7 points.
I can't think of any open looks Monmouth has had. Even their drives to the basket, there's guys helping, getting their hands in. That's a great call right there as Pinckney takes the charge. And these guys have come here to play.
It's impressive when your 7-foot shot blocker can get in position to draw a charge. Monmouth's Miles Foster has made a lot of veteran moves this year. That was one of the ones we haven't seen him try yet.
Yeah, and that's a good call, Eddie, on that one, where Miles Foster has been under control, back to the basket. Now, that's one where you might want to save that for later on in the year. You got a lot of hands in there, a lot of traffic, and tremendous move by Pinckney to step in and take the charge.
Lewis to the basket. He's got 4 in a row for Quinnipiac.
Another great take there by Savion Lewis, and the body control, hang in the air and finish at the rim.
10-point Bobcat lead, 11 minutes gone by. Here's Gabriel. Long strides to the basket. Gob Gabriel gets it to go.
We caught up with Gob Gabriel over the course of the week and talked about his evolution and his game. And that's something that he does very well. That drive to the basket and those 2 long strides and the finish.
Good matchup here, Ruth and Lewis. As now Ruth has to guard Rigoni on the switch. A strong take by Jacob Rigoni. 2 free throws coming.
And you just don't want to bail him out there. Rigoni, I know he's a bigger player, but that's not where his strength is. His strength is shooting threes from the outside. You just don't want to bail a guy out who's doing something that's not their best game. He's got to stay straight up there and just a little over-aggressive.
Foul is Miles Foster's second. So Rigoni back to the free throw line. Mentioned coming into play, he was perfect 14 for 14 from the line. As Foster sits down, Monmouth brings in another freshman in 6'9", Clemen Vuga. This has been the side of the floor that we've really wanted to keep the eye on as Williams gets a deflection. And to this point in the game, it's been Quinnipiac's defense. That's the story. And it is again, Shinnery the steal. In the open floor, 1-on-3, Ty Moose. Shinnery makes it 21-9.
Well, Shinnery's headed to the all-rookie team this year because of what he just did on both ends of the floor. Deflection, steal, and then finish in traffic, absorb the contact. Great play.
Here comes Lewis. Crossover will draw the foul on Monmouth's Miles Ruth. Excellent start to this game for Savion Lewis and Quinnipiac.
So far than Monmouth. They've a little bit quicker, a little bit more aggressive. They've been in the passing lanes. They've been getting deflections and steals. And Monmouth has struggled to finish at the other end here. But that's because the Bobcats have contested them on every shot. Eddie, I can't think of an open look Monmouth has had in this game so far.
Lewis misses the front end, and then back the other way, George Pappas makes it a 9-point game.
Monmouth's best offense has been those plays where they immediately get that ball up the sideline. You got the Pappas 3 there, and then Hammond had that dunk earlier. But when this game has been in the half court, it's been all Bobcats.
Shinnery stepped out of bounds, so Monmouth will get it back. Pappas with that last 3, now 29 threes on the year. Getting close to 50% shooting from beyond the arc. Well, here he just keeps running to the basket. There's Pinckney to meet him. And a whistle on the way up with 7:21 to go in the first.
It's a great read by George Pappas there, coming off the screen, curling, and getting to the rim. King Rice not happy. I thought there was a lot of contact there on Pinckney. It did look like a foul from where we are. A good, strong drive by George Pappas. Yeah, I mean, that's a foul. But great drive there by Pappas, and McClary cleaning it up.
So free throws for Monmouth senior Marcus McClary. 9 for 14 from the free throw line this season. You've mentioned the term X factor a couple of times, and McClary for Monmouth falls directly into that category. We came on the air talking about Malik Martin as well on the weekend he had against Marist. So you can kind of put those two seniors, I think, in similar categories where the better they are, when Monmouth's rolling, they're also playing excellent basketball.
Well, it goes to show you the depth that Monmouth has, right? They have multiple guys who can be their X factor. You know that Hammond's going to score, and Pappas is off to a great start. But they have so many other guys to kind of play that X factor role each game.
Shinnery trying to throw one down, and it'll be an offensive foul on the freshman.
Yeah, that's an easy call right there. King Rice screaming at his bench right now to get up and be excited, and I couldn't agree more. George Pappas, that was just a great job of getting out of the restricted area and taking quite the lick there from Shinnery.
That, when someone says sacrifice your body, is what they have in mind.
No doubt about it. And I totally agree with King Rice. He was all over his bench for not being excited enough, and he's right. That was a great play by George Pappas.
Drawing the charge on one end and then unable to knock that 3 down. But then Pinckney steps on the out-of-bounds line, so Monmouth will keep it down 7. Talk offense and defense all you want, but I think the thing and why you saw Monmouth's head coach being as animated as he was is Quinnipiac has brought more energy in the early part of this game.
I agree, Eddie. They certainly have, and even that shot there from Hammond, which he's shown looks easy, that was good defense. Shinnery was draped all over him. Hammond just made a good shot.
Now Monmouth on a bit of a run here, 7-0, the last minute 17 to make it a 5-point game. Here's Lewis, ultra quick with the ball. Kick out Williams. 3 rattles home.
And Savion Lewis keeping his dribble, weaving in out of the lane. A nice sight there for Bobcats fans. Williams shooting the ball well from the outside.
Hammond gets everybody in the air, and he can't get the turnaround to roll in. You know one way to get Quinnipiac, a lot of open threes? Savion Lewis into the paint, because that previous drive, really against everyone in this league, he's able to get inside, and then if you're shot ready, here he goes to the pull-up that's too long.
And that's part of his game, Eddie. That's the evolving part. Being that pure point guard to get guys involved, as well as also look for your own offense.
It's a big shot for Monmouth, Sam Chaput, and he makes it 24-19.
Great to see for Sam Chaput, like we said earlier, struggling a bit from the outside. He's also a guy that needs to show that he's willing to take open shots. I think he passes up too many open ones.
Well, here Monmouth with the turnover. Chaput the advance to Pappas. And Baker Dunleavy's going to call timeout as Monmouth was implored to bring energy by its head coach. They've done so the last few minutes, and they've head shake because we've seen in the games this season, especially in this building, Monmouth can score quickly.
And Monmouth is a talented team, and they got off to a slow start. When Monmouth's at their best, they're getting up and down the floor, and they can go on a run in a hurry.
See if Quinnipiac can answer as Rigoni will go back to the free throw line. Foul is McClary's second. Rigoni's been a busy guy at the free throw line. He's already 3 for 4 here in the first half. Here you go, Steve, adding this to his game in addition to the outside shot.
And Rigoni is known as a high-level three-point shooter. And that's the next part of the game for Jacob Rigoni, is as he gets older and now in his senior season here, when somebody closes him out strong, he's got to be able to put that on the floor and create some offense for himself.
Monmouth's Malik Martin can't finish the three. Offensive rebound, Ruddy. He tracks down another one on this possession.
And that's the most Hammond's been in this game, that's for sure. And couldn't knock it down. Great time to shoot an offensive. Great time to shoot a three off an offensive rebound.
Belanc's going to let fire in the corner.
Quinnipiac just sharper in this first half, and they're showing it right now. And they're shooting the ball well from the outside, and I think that's the story for them early on. And their defense is obviously much improved. So if they get back to shooting the ball well from the outside, which we've seen them be able to do in years past, it'll be a pretty tough team to compete with.
Well, they lead by 8, answering Monmouth's run. Akot can't finish. And now he trails the play. Here comes Monmouth 5-on-4. Akot is down back the other end of the floor on the baseline as Monmouth's Nikkei Ruddy will be whistled for a foul here. We go back down the other end of the floor as Quinnipiac will tend to bowl Akot. Bobcats. Right, similarly to when you get open looks early, even the contested ones late feel good. We've seen that when good shooters get rolling.
That's it. That's exactly it. And a guy like Dion Hammond, if he gets open looks early to knock down some shots and get some rhythm, then when he's contested late in the game, those shots seem to go in too. Really, Quinnipiac has done the opposite to start this game.
It's such an interesting point you bring up. You know, that's why you hear coaches, you know, Mike Krzyzewski was always famous for, right, how you start first 5 minutes of a half, last 5 minutes of a half. And I know that sentiment is echoed by so many, but you know, the point that you just bring up kind of is the direct correlation to that.
They set the tone in this game, Quinnipiac did, with their defense, with their intensity. Here we go again.
Forcing the turnover. Savion Lewis going to beat everyone down floor and make it 33-21.
So many loose balls and deflections and steals.
If we had the hustle point stats going on, it'd be all Quinnipiac so far as Hammond steps into a triple.
The best half-court offensive possession Monmouth had because they didn't over-dribble, they didn't force any drives, they swung the ball from one side to the other and ran some great inside-out offense to get Hammond to look with Ruddy the pass.
Ruddy tracks down the rebound. And a whistle here with 2:34. The kick is called as Monmouth will inbound. That'll bring Seth Pinckney back in for Quinnipiac. Remember, he left a long time ago after that foul was called, and good to see he shook off that hip injury. Hopefully a cot able to come back for the Bobcats as well. Martin able to get the second try to go.
That's a nice play there by Monmouth. Malik Martin, they get him off of a screen, curling to the basket to his left hand. So he's got some momentum going to his strong hand.
Well, here he jumps at Savion Lewis, who can't finish. Belanc to the pull-up. Final 2 minutes here in the first half. Pappas will bring it out, getting instructions from King Rice on the sideline. Now it'll be Ruth with under 1:50 to go. Pappas going to use the screen, launch the three. And here's McGuire.
A great job of defense again by Quinnipiac. Monmouth, nothing going on that possession there.
Comes Ruth. They'll look ahead to Martin. Quick catch. Can't finish. But they'll rule it a goaltend with 1:23 to go in the first.
A great job of patience by Miles Ruth. And just takes his time coming up the floor. Gives Malik Martin time to get past the defense. Good touch on the pass for him to finish. Monmouth with a little bit momentum here now. 1:23 left. Can they get a couple stops and try to even this game before halftime? Really a game that Quinnipiac has been in control of since the start.
Well, they led by as many as 12 points. A recent 7-0 Monmouth run gives us our current score. Williams makes sure he's behind the line, but it's short. 2 passes and Monmouth already into the front court. Martin. Here's McGuire.
That's one I think Martin should have kicked out. Chaput, who's hit a couple shots, open on the perimeter.
Lewis, confident take, but can't finish. Too strong. And Chaput will get instructions from the Monmouth sideline. Lewis takes it away from him. Savion Lewis, the rip on one end, and he'll earn 2 free throws.
I really like Savion Lewis, Eddie. I like the way he plays. I like the way he competes. That's tremendous hands there. Chaput trying to shake him.
Well, as we've seen in Monmouth between Miles Ruth, Sam Chaput, and a few others, I would put those two in a category of maybe 2 of the fastest players in the league. And Ruth has been fantastic as an on-the-ball defender so far, and Lewis has routinely in this game gotten into the paint.
He's ultra quick with the basketball, and you see the great hands on defense when he picks Sam Chaput's pocket.
Eight points, 2 assists so far in the game for Savion Lewis. 20 seconds to go here in the first half. What kind of look Monmouth can get down 7. Quinnipiac has been pesky defensively all half. Belanc the big rebound. Bobcats trying to turn to offense. Flip ahead to Williams. Belanc will finish. A couple of tries at the rim for the Bobcats, but that'll take us to the half with Quinnipiac up 35-28. A tremendous defensive effort in the first half for the Bobcats as they inside, and that really opened up the entire offense for Quinnipiac as Monmouth will most likely turn to that guy, senior Deion Hammond, scoring 20 points a game coming into play.
Well, I think it's important for Monmouth that they need to get better looks. And they had a couple possessions there where they were swinging the ball from side to side. But for the most part, I thought they were probably over-dribbling and forcing some drives.
A turnover 11 seconds into the second half as Hammond lost it. Williams going to take Pappas down low. Nice finish by Tyrese Williams.
And Tyrese Williams playing a nice game here this evening. Turning defense into offense there for Quinnipiac.
Miles Ruth can't answer with a three. Pinckney with the rebound. Lewis turning the corner, throwing it up, but it's a foul first.
And that's when Pinckney's so dangerous. The ball screen, and when guys can turn the corner and get into the lane and draw help, that's when Pinckney is really at his best. And you just throw it right up to him and let him finish it.
Well, he hasn't taken a shot technically in this game. But on the season, Seth Pinckney is 19 of 23 from the floor. That's 83%.
Yeah, the farthest shot he's probably taken at the rim was a play in their first game against Manhattan where he kind of flipped the ball from underneath the basket and made it. And a tough shot. That was probably the hardest shot he's had all year.
Hammond alone for three, but too strong. And Quinnipiac was patient on offense in the first half. They can afford to be so here in the second. And Lewis with the turnover. McClary. An empty possession for Monmouth. Lewis, ball still alive. And it'll go down to the Bobcats. A minute and a half gone by in the second.
Eddie, Monmouth just looks out of sync, especially going to the rim. McClary gets that run out there. Rigoni, great job hustling back and staying vertical. But McClary, I mean, he doesn't even come close on the layup, and they just look out of sync, shooting the basketball. And I think you have to just credit Quinnipiac. They set the tone early in this one with their defensive intensity.
Not too far for Rigoni. He and Shinnery not on the same page.
And that's got to be frustrating for a coach, and not even getting a shot attempt after a good job of transition defense. Quinnipiac beat Manhattan in that first game of their series last weekend. But late in that game, they had end of regulation and end of the first overtime where they didn't get shots off. They turned the basketball over in the last final seconds of those games. And went on to win in double overtime.
And Malik Martin to the basket. A foul called on Pinckney. Quinnipiac bench not big fans of that call, as Monmouth's Malik Martin will shoot two.
I don't really know what Pinckney can do any different, Eddie. He's in great position. And I said your name like I was mad at you there.
You said my name like you're mad I called the foul.
Pinckney's in great position. It looks like to me that Malik Martin lowered his shoulder. And I mean, that's what you're supposed to do on offense, right? Put your shoulder into the defense and draw contact. But I think that's a tough call on Pinckney.
Well, and I was waiting for one of the officials to point into the restricted area. But I think that's limited to block charge calls. So I would agree, partner. 8-point game here for Quinnipiac. Williams. That's a great pass outside to Shinnery.
A great job of offense. You called it. Tremendous pass there. Tyrese Williams drawing a double team, and that's what you want to do. Look diagonal opposite. Shinnery wide open in the corner.
And that's a foul on Monmouth's Malik Martin. And King Rice is furious on the Monmouth sideline. And you could see he is hot right now. The call on Malik Martin is what led to the exchange going on the Monmouth sideline. So Martin picks up his first foul, and we'll take another look at it, Steve.
That's a close one. It's a close one. Malik Martin moving a little bit. King Rice not happy with the call. And pretty intense there. And there's a piece of me thinking that King Rice was maybe even trying to get a technical to try to get it. There's the makeup call. But King Rice trying to get a technical because he needs to get his team going a little bit. And maybe he wants to take one to get some life into his team right now.
11-point Quinnipiac lead as they'll get Seth Pinckney out and J.J. Riggins will check back in. Well, through 23 minutes, I'll tell you this, and I'm not the analyst, my broadcast partner is, but right now, as Martin is short, whatever Quinnipiac is doing defensively, Steve, to Monmouth, it's dictated the entire tempo of this game. As Martin's called for another foul, his second.
Well, they're doing it on both ends of the floor. They're doing a great job in the half court, and you see, because Monmouth is missing shots and Quinnipiac slowing the game down, there hasn't been too much in transition for Monmouth, and that's when they're really at their best, and that's when they get rhythm and get momentum, and they start really getting up and down the court. That's what they have to stop doing, Quinnipiac. Too many turnovers.
And Martin just was out of control going towards the rim, but he'll shoot two.
Quinnipiac's got a great opportunity here to try to knock one off against the Monmouth Hawks, and you can't miss plays like that. Now, that's an easy one. Enter that ball and run into some offense. A couple possessions back. You got Rigoni in the post. You throw it out of bounds. To end the first half, they have a 3-on-2, and Williams gets the shot up on the rim, and they can't get the finish. No, those are missed opportunities, missed points against a really good team on the road.
And another one coming for Martin. So maybe it's not so much an offense-defense specific point as more so a pace of play point. And Quinnipiac has really made a concerted effort to make this a half-court game, and that's what we have right now with 16 and change to go in the second.
I don't know if Monmouth's done a great job of running half-court offense. They have a lot of freedom. They play that 4-out-1 in style, and King Rice trusts his players to make the right decision, but I think for the most part on the Monmouth offensive end, they've probably forced a little bit too much and haven't swung that ball enough.
Quinnipiac with another turnover. Couple of players slow to get back. We got 4-on-4 action, and Martin with the miss, but another foul is called. They're going to call that one on Shinnery. It'll be his second. Well, we have not had the smoothest first media timeout here in the second.
Well, that was another turnover for Quinnipiac, trying to force that ball into the post. That's 14 turnovers now for them. Monmouth has 11. Quinnipiac converting off those Monmouth turnovers, 14-8 in points off turnovers. Monmouth only shooting 26% in this game.
Yeah, that's been the story so far. They come into play this weekend shooting 47% as a team. Martin goes 1 of 2 again. So McGuire's checked in for Quinnipiac. Good to see Bolacott into the game as well. And he was able to shake off that ankle injury from the first half. Shinnery just going to go right down the lane.
Right, that is just absolutely too easy on the Monmouth side. Straight line drive right down the middle of the rim.
We saw this Monmouth lineup last weekend against Marist. That smaller lineup with Malik Martin playing the center. That's a great extra pass. Chapu tipped out Hammond. Martin's going to go to his offhand, the right, and finish.
That's a big-time play there by Malik Martin in the post. And good finish. And the Monmouth needed that one bad. That's an easy call.
And Martin and Riggins were doing battle near the top of the three-point line. It'll go against Quinnipiac. Monmouth ball when we come back. The lead, Monmouth got the better of them last time out.
And maybe no better game that these two teams played than in the MAC tournament a couple years back. And they met in the quarterfinals when Monmouth went on that big run to the championship and played that 98-92. That was an epic game and one of the best Monmouth postseason performances in school history.
Yeah, that game, I'm going to go ahead and throw you one step further as McClary turns it over. And then the foul, loose ball foul in the backcourt. I'm going to go ahead and one-up you there, Steve. How about that was maybe one of the best MAC tournament games ever. Didn't Quinnipiac hit 18 threes, and then they had two,
yes,
right, being fouled shooting a three, and what a just unbelievable game. And if you look back, Monmouth was the 6th seed. They were the lower seeded team in that game. That was a tremendous Quinnipiac team. Cameron Young, Rich Kelly. Cam Young was the player of the year that year.
Cameron Young had 33 points in that game. Like you said, Eddie, Quinnipiac hit 18 threes and had a couple where they were fouled shooting threes, made all 3 free throws. That was just such an incredible MAC tournament game. Monmouth had 7 guys in double figures.
A well-run fast break for Monmouth. That previous possession, now a 7-point game. Shinnery going to pull up for 3. Hammond's going to go to the crossover, glide to the basket.
And McGuire over at the nick of time. And King Rice, talk about being animated. He has been animated all game long along that sideline. And wants a foul call for Dion Hammond. McGuire came in right at the nick of time there to bat that ball away.
And he controls, going screen and roll with Pinckney, and he threw it away. Well, but they call a foul on Monmouth's Dion Hammond off the ball.
Yeah, we'll have to see that one again. That was a tough one. They switch the ball screen. Hammond picks up Pinckney, who's rolling, and a little bit of body there, and gets the foul call.
McGuire, the great pass to Akot. Hammond able to challenge. McClary to the basket. Pinckney with the block. $13:58 to go in the second. A 7-point game. This is what Seth Pinckney does better than a lot of the MAC.
It just goes to show you why Quinnipiac is having such a great defensive season. They have some guys who can really guard on the perimeter, but then you have the ultimate shot blocker protecting the rim. It's really great team defense.
Hammond lost it.
Now, how many times have we seen that in this game? Monmouth trying to drive, and then they just cough it up. Quinnipiac getting their hands in there.
This game 100% being played at the pace of Quinnipiac. Rigoni wasn't able to set the feet, shuffled them. Monmouth will get it back.
Oh, we've seen them Quinnipiac, that is, try to get that ball inside to Rigoni and post up McClary, and just not sure if that's his strength.
Looks uncomfortable a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, McClary's known as a good defender, and he travels on that one, and they turn the ball over trying to enter the ball into him earlier this half.
It's also a change for what we've seen, at least, us from a distance, of Jacob Rigoni, who for 3 years was just a knockdown shooter, trying to add more elements to the game as the Bobcats lead by 7. As Malik Martin will try a 3. That's a big shot for the Monmouth senior.
And if you go back and look at every half-court possession for Monmouth, if you count the passes, that was probably the possession where they passed the most.
Big shot for Monmouth's Malik Martin, makes it a 4-point game. There's McGuire into the lane, the drop off to Pinckney.
Once Pinckney gets the ball down there, he's throwing it down. McGuire under control, jump stop, bounce pass, love it.
I think I know why Seth Pinckney shoots 83%. McClary on the baseline, back and forth rhythm now going here in the second half.
That's a tough shot. Not an easy look there with Pinckney using his length and giving McClary a little bit of space, but not an easy shot there, and a nice knockdown, Marcus McClary.
Lewis changing direction, throwing it up to Pinckney again, and he'll go to the line.
Anytime you can turn the corner and get into the lane, and once that big guy has to commit just a little bit to helping on the driver, you immediately get that ball up to Pinckney and let him do his thing. The most important thing to stop that play, you can't let the guy turn the corner. You got to guard the ball. You got to guard the ball screen. Once they get into the lane and draw help, that's going to be an alley-oop to Pinckney all night long.
We mentioned he shoots 83% from the floor. A capable free throw shooter, 68%. Quinnipiac will get Belanc back in as Monmouth will bring in Nikkei Ruddy and Miles Ruth. It's been a couple times already here in the second. Monmouth has cut this Quinnipiac lead to 4, and a couple of times the Bobcats have answered. It's been all Quinnipiac. They've led throughout. Ruddy muscles it up and in and make it 46-42.
And that's the strength of Nikkei Ruddy. Pinckney more of a long shot blocker than a guy who's like a Kevin Marfo who they lost, who is an enormous body down there. And Ruddy just able to outmuscle him.
Another illegal screen foul called. This one on Quinnipiac's Tyrese Williams. Clock, and through 2/3 or so of this game, Quinnipiac looks every bit the team that, with a new identity, is more comfortable. They lead by 4.
Yeah, I think they've been known as a three-point shooting team over the last few years, and I think they're not just a three-point shooting team anymore. They are defensive-minded, and the stats not lying. Quinnipiac coming into this game as the top-ranked scoring defense, and they've looked the part so far. I do think, though, that if they end up dropping this one, all they have to do is look at the turnovers. They have 18 turnovers right now compared to only 12 for Monmouth, and they dropped their second game against Manhattan after beating Manhattan last week in double overtime. They dropped the second game. It was an ugly game, 45-42. Manhattan only shot 28% in that game. But Quinnipiac lost. They had 15 turnovers. Manhattan only had 6.
Similar score to what we have right here as the Bobcats lead Monmouth by 4. Reagan's rolling to the rim. How about the bounce pass from McGuire?
That's why we were saying in the first half, Eddie, that McGuire needs to have the ball in his hands. Here he goes again.
With the interception off the Ruddy pass. McGuire striding to the basket. Great sequence for Brendan McGuire.
Oh, great job there in the passing lane. And McGuire 6'9" with point guard skills and the long strides to finish with the left hand.
Monmouth's Donovan totally getting to the basket, and he'll go to the free throw line. Been a physical game from the point of view that, Steve, a lot of these drives towards the rim have ended up with guys on the ground on both teams.
It has been a physical game, and Quinnipiac's brought the physicality in this one. And really, on the perimeter, and Shinnery, I thought, set the tone early with his defense against Dion Hammond, and guys getting in the lane and getting deflections. And you're right. Regan stepping in there, trying to draw a charge. And the difference with big guys, right? You got Pinckney who's going to shot block. Riggins comes in. He's a little bit bigger, not as tall, so he's going to step up and be physical and take the charge.
Monmouth is the top three-point shooting team in the league as they'll sit down senior George Pappas for freshman Jack Holmstrom. And tonight they've struggled from 3, just 4 for 19. But one of their, I guess, more glaring weaknesses this season has been the free throw line. And for a team that scores 80, today they're shooting just over 50%. And normally a strength of a King Rice coach team is how well they shoot free throws. Hasn't been the case this year. They're shooting 70% as a team. It's about middle of the pack in the MAC.
Like Dion Hammond has missed 16 of those free throws. And how about this play here, Eddie?
Savion Lewis and 1. Continuing where he picked up in the first half, Steve, getting to the basket again.
And you see turning the corner again. So the ball screen and Savion Lewis using that great ball handling ability and his speed and acceleration to just get to the rim and finish. And, I've been waiting 2 years, Eddie, to see Savion Lewis play in person, and it was well worth the wait. Very impressed with him in this one.
Well, that three-point play pushes the Quinnipiac lead back to 10. Totally go to the rim. Batted around. Nikkei Ruddy, another offensive rebound. Ruddy's been active on the offensive glass. Ruth, another tough shot.
You said it, Eddie. It's been a physical game. Monmouth just seems to not really adjust. I almost think they're driving, expecting for a foul to be called. And there hasn't really been many fouls called on their contested drives, and they just end up being forced misses.
Rigoni was patient. McClary with the nice defense. And here comes Ruth. Totally the pass. Ruddy. Oh, there was an arm raised below the basket, but here we go.
And that should have been a layup for Monmouth. That's a missed opportunity for them.
Lewis is too strong on the three. And it will go back the other way.
Totally drops it off to Ruddy, and Ruddy has a hard time. How about Manhattan holding Niagara at only 49 points and getting a win?
It's impressive when you consider that Marcus Hammond could score 30 on his own, but, that's really the recipe for the Jaspers this year, right? It's defense, and a little Ant Nelson thrown in.
Well, Anthony Nelson is a big-time talent in this league, and I think Manhattan still got a chance to make a run, and I know they started a little bit poorly here and towards the bottom of the standings, but I think they have talent. Anthony Nelson and, of course, Warren Williams.
Ruddy and Ruth not on the same page. Shinnery gliding to the basket.
Yeah, an interesting lineup in for Monmouth, too. Struggling to score, not shooting a high percentage, 29%. And you got a couple freshmen in the game, and no Dion Hammond, no George Pappas for the Hawks.
Totally. A deep three that Monmouth desperately needed.
They certainly did, and Totley's that guy. He's the spark plug off the bench. Big steal here.
Another spark plug, Miles Ruth, but he lost his footing going to the basket. Oh, they'll say it's Monmouth ball with 8:34 to go. They rule it was last touched by Quinnipiac.
Baker Dunleavy with his arms, basically wide out there, like, I can't believe the call. He didn't think anybody touched it. Miles Ruth just looked like he tripped a little bit. And let's see here if Lewis touched it. I don't think he did from that angle.
Now Monmouth is checked in. Freshman Miles Foster hands off to Totley.
That would have been a huge shot for Monmouth.
Nine-point Bobcats lead. They have led this game throughout. McGuire, a little too far in front of Shinnery. They say Monmouth touched it last. McGuire, you mentioned it. The story last year with him kind of burst onto the scene with the unique story, grew so much. He's got point guard skills, but you could see those point guard skills. Here, turning the corner, can't finish.
Yeah, I like McGuire a lot. I like his game. He's got a great feel, tremendous passer. And nice pull-up game, too. I know he missed that one, but he's got a nice mid-range as well.
Here's Totley getting inside, finishing amongst the trees.
It's a great job. And Totley's got to be careful there. When guys finish and then they flex and scream, you just don't want to pick up a cheap tee at this point in the game when you're trying to come back. But great move.
Lewis, wave it away. It's an offensive foul. Credit to Monmouth's Jack Holmstrom stepping up and drawing it.
How about the freshman there? That's a big play in this game. Can Monmouth get some more offense going? Only 48 points in this game. They really have been out of sync for most of this one. Can they get some better looks here in the last 7.5 minutes?
King Rice has come back with Dion Hammond, Monmouth's leading scorer as well. They get him an early touch. Great block from behind. It was Shinnery. He and Pinckney converged.
I think you have to drive to the basket, expecting contact, and no foul to be called. And I think that's great. Let them play. Let them be physical. Basketball's a contact sport.
I'll talk football tomorrow. I'm going to let it roll for a night. There's McClary. There's another drive to the basket. Pinckney bothered it. And here we go, 3-on-2 for the Bobcats. They throw it up to Pinckney.
It's just great feel for the game by Savion Lewis, too. And, of course, Pinckney protecting the rim on one end and then running the floor and able to finish.
Now, Shinnery lost his footing, but Hammond can't convert. Ruth just takes it away from McGuire.
That's got to be so frustrating for Baker Dunleavy and his staff. A lot of momentum after the big throwdown by Pinckney, and Ruth steals it right from McGuire.
You want to maybe jot that play down. Potential swing play in this game with 6.5 to go. Shinnery, one-on-one with Hammond.
How about Shinnery? A great take there against the Monmouth senior.
Here's Hammond going to use the screen. Totally tries to split the double team. He turned it over.
Trying to do a little bit too much on that one. And that's been the story of this game for the Quinnipiac defense. Monmouth trying to get into some tight spaces, and Hands always in there getting deflections and steals.
Hammond with the ball fake got everyone in the air, but then it was short.
And you see Hammond just doesn't have it right now. 3 of 14, 1 of 6 from the three-point line. And they have focused on Hammond. No open looks. Shinnery's been all over him. They've been running guys at him all over the floor.
Lewis this time turns it over. Here comes Totley down the middle of the floor. Pull up 3. Hammond, the offensive foul, and 1.
And you look up in this game after a big Dion Hammond rebound, and maybe because Pinckney was on the other. But you're always ready.
How did that not make the 1,000-win video is what I want to know.
It is on. Now, it was a Brent Wilson highlight because he made the layup.
Fair, right.
But it is on the 06 highlight video.
That's a good point.
The old no-look inbounds pass.
Gets him every time. Hammond three-point play, 6-point game now. Right? So another time where Monmouth has gotten to within a couple of possessions. 5 minutes to go here in the second. The Bobcats have had an answer for this situation all game. Here it comes in the form of Rigoni.
And that's a play that they've wanted all game long. Rigoni in the post shows you how much I know. I was saying that I'm not sure they should be doing that, and Rigoni makes it look easy.
Martin's been huge for Monmouth in the game. Can't get that one to fall.
And Martin's Monmouth's leading scorer, 14 points for Malik Martin.
And here's Chaput with a foul on Bo Lacotte.
And Lacotte just baited that foul call even before Chaput really contacted him. Just gave the little head and shoulders fake, which is one of the worst things to happen to basketball, and he gets the call.
To say it's a trend in the game that is, well, it's rampant. And everything in basketball takes its cue from whatever happens at the NBA level and then kind of reverberates on down. But yeah,
that's no doubt. It's
part of the game.
NBA's fault, and that head and shoulders when you get a little contact fake, and sometimes it draws the whistle.
Another free throw coming for the freshman from Manchester, New Hampshire. Still a 3-possession game with 4.5 to go. Chaput the hesitation, and they call a Lacotte for the touch foul back the other way. Savion Lewis will check in after the first free throw as double bonus time. Chaput, who had some good moments in the first half offensively, has knocked down a couple of shots. Another free throw coming as Lewis makes his return.
Chaput, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Pretty efficient and good game here from Chaput. Had a nice stand defensively earlier in the game in the first half where he stayed in front of Savion Lewis and drew the charge.
Definitely looks more comfortable, does Sam Chaput, especially on the offensive end.
And 2 big free throws there.
See parts for Tyrese Williams, and he lays it in.
Just a poor job of defense. Monmouth trying to pressure up a little bit, get a little run and jump, but Williams doing a great job of keeping the angle, keeping Pappas on his back. And you don't want to help off of Pinckney. It's going to be an alley-oop.
Lewis just rips it away from Martin. Now back the other way. Look at Hammond go up with the block.
What an enormous play there. Dion Hammond saving 2 points.
And now he runs back, fires the three, and knocks it down. What a sequence for Dion Hammond. The block on one end, the three on the other, keeping Monmouth in the ballgame.
Maybe a game-saving play by the Monmouth senior, Dion Hammond, and I absolutely love the timeout by King Rice after the make.
Well, Dion Hammond, Steve, has player of the year kind of game and showing it on both ends of the floor. Like you said, a potential game-changing defensive play on one end and a huge three on the other. We have a 6-point game.
Pro Extra is the Home Depot's loyalty program built just for pros. Members earn rewards like Tool Rental Center credit or Pro Extra dollars with every purchase. Plus, they get members-only offers. Save time, save money, get rewarded. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
With a top-rated app that lets you deposit checks and transfer money anytime, anywhere, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like...
I'll take Barkley.
Yes! Yep, even easier than that. What's in your wallet?
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a year old or a few years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Wendy's didn't start the chicken wars. They just ended them with Wendy's new classic chicken sandwich. Nothing beats this classic. Grab it now in Wendy's 2 for $5.
This is the best of the best.
Everybody has a place to go. Everybody wants a place to be. When birds fly, they're swimming in the sky, while fish are swimming in the sea.
You wouldn't go a day without washing your hands, but what about your nose? It's the body's air filter to help protect you from dangerous germs. Now you can clean your nose every day with easy-to-use Navage. Navage uses powered suction to flush out germs, mucus, and allergens, and it relieves congestion naturally without drugs.
I used to get so congested, but Navage cleans out all the stuff that makes me miserable so I can breathe again.
Online and at these fine stores. Over 1 million sold. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Coming down the stretch here in the Ocean First Bank Center, Quinnipiac has led throughout. 64-58 over Monmouth. Steve Bazaz, Eddie Acapinti here with you. Executive producer Andrew Kurtz doing a great job with the crew that we have, as has that guy, Savion Lewis, doing a great job with his Quinnipiac crew, but Dion Hammond, a great sequence, Steve, to make this a 2-possession game.
Dion Hammond might have saved the game for the Monmouth Hawks with that sequence. Just a tremendous job of hustle, athleticism. He gets the block on the layup attempt by Lewis. and then runs down the floor and bangs a three to cut it to 6. It could have been an 11-point game if Lewis finished. Instead, Monmouth only down 6 and still has a chance in this one.
Well, every time Monmouth has made a run, Quinnipiac has been able to answer. Lewis double teamed. Has to pass out of it. Shinnery from the wing. Pappas, the catch and shoot three is good, and he cuts the Quinnipiac lead in half.
How about the confidence there from George Pappas, who has kind of been silent in this game? He has 9 points, but haven't really heard from him in a while. Monmouth gets a big defensive stop, and then Pappas off the screen knocks down a big one.
Leading three-point shooter in the MAC is George Pappas. Inside of 3 minutes to go. Rigoni open for three on his own, and a big shot for the Quinnipiac senior.
That's huge. Great execution off the horn set. Pinckney rolls. Rigoni pops, gets a wide open look.
Pappas again, this one off balance, and he'll go to the line.
Baker Dunleavy is just, I really haven't seen him this animated in the time he's been the Quinnipiac head coach, and he's not happy with that call either. You know, both coaches have had their moments in this game, barking at the officials, and that usually lends to an even whistle when both coaches are barking like that. Now we'll have to see a replay to see if Pappas had some contact there.
Well, he was putting it up, no doubt, on the catch. Comes into play, shooting 70%, but last year was upwards of 90% from the free throw line. 2 more free throws coming for Pappas.
To me, it looks like a tough call. Pappas did a good job selling it. But I think Pappas was just off balance, and Williams had a little bit of a hand on him coming off the screen, but I think that's a tough one. Tough call there.
Well, Pappas just hit a conventional three, the possession before.
We have the benefit of looking at a replay in super slow-mo. You know, this stuff happens so fast that you got to make a call.
Well, Pappas knocks down all three, then stole the inbounds. Now we'll try one from the corner, and he can't get it to go. It rims in and out.
What a sequence that would have been for Pappas if that ball went in. Again, Eddie, Quinnipiac has to look to one thing in this game if they don't come out on top, and that's turnovers. 23 turnovers now for the Bobcats, and wow, that was halfway down for Pappas.
Did everything but fall through the rim for Monmouth senior George Pappas. McGuire will check back.
Saved the game for the Monmouth Hawks with that sequence. Just a tremendous job of hustle, athleticism. He gets the block on the layup attempt by Lewis, and then runs down the floor and bangs a three to cut it to 6. It could have been an 11-point game if Lewis finished. Instead, Monmouth only down 6 and still has a chance in this one.
Well, every time Monmouth has made a run, Quinnipiac has been able to answer. Lewis double teamed. Has to pass out of it. Shinnery from the wing. Pappas, the catch and shoot three is good, and he cuts the Quinnipiac lead in half.
How about the confidence there from George Pappas, who has kind of been silent in this game? He has 9 points, but haven't really heard from him in a while. Monmouth gets a big defensive stop, and then Pappas off the screen knocks down a big one.
Leading three-point shooter in the MAC is George Pappas. Inside of 3 minutes to go. Rigoni open for three on his own, and a big shot for the Quinnipiac senior.
That's huge. Great execution off the horn set. Pinckney rolls. Rigoni pops, gets a wide open look.
Pappas again, this one off balance, and he'll go to the line.
Baker Dunleavy is just, I really haven't seen him this animated in in the time he's been the Quinnipiac head coach, and he's not happy with that call either. You know, both coaches have had their moments in this game, barking at the officials, and that usually lends to an even whistle when both coaches are barking like that. Now we'll have to see a replay to see if Pappas had some contact there.
Well, he was putting it up, no doubt, on the catch. Comes into play, shooting 70%, but last year was upwards of 90% from the free throw line. 2 more free throws coming for Pappas.
To me, it looks like a tough call. Pappas did a good job selling it. But I think Pappas was just off balance, and Williams had a little bit of a hand on him coming off the screen, but I think that's a tough one. Tough call there.
Well, Pappas just hit a conventional 3 the possession before.
We have the benefit of looking at a replay in super slow-mo. You know, this stuff happens so fast that you got to make a call.
Well, Pappas knocks down all 3, then stole the inbounds. Now we'll try one from the corner, and he can't get it to go. It rims in and out.
What a sequence that would have been for Pappas if that ball went in. Again, Eddie, Quinnipiac has to look to one thing in this game if they don't come out on top, and that's turnovers. 23 turnovers now for the Bobcats, and wow, that was halfway down for Pappas.
Did everything but fall through the rim for Monmouth senior George Pappas. McGuire will check back in for Quinnipiac. Three-point game coming down the stretch. 2 and change to go in West Long Branch. Chaput keeping a close eye on Savion Lewis. Williams is going to step into a 3, and he banks it in.
That kind of night for Quinnipiac. Things going their way, and Williams banks one in, making their own breaks.
Hammond will try to answer short.
Monmouth still only down 2 possessions here.
Lewis get all the way to the rim, and Quinnipiac has extended the lead to 8.
Great job of execution there. Savion Lewis, a tremendous finish and footwork.
I'll call that foul on McGuire. It'll be more free throws.
And gets the screen here by Pinckney. That's a good legal screen. And then nobody really helping there on the drive. And Lewis gets an easy lay-in. And, you know, teams, when they play a good game, Eddie, they deserve some breaks. And I think Quinnipiac played a tremendous game here this evening. And Williams banks in a 3. But they put themselves in position to get a break, and he banks it in. And now they're up 7 in this one, and in position to steal one here on the road against Monmouth. And the Hawks didn't come with their best performance, and Quinnipiac took advantage. You know, can they hold on here in the last minute and a half?
I think that's the fascinating thing, is when you have the opportunity to win a game, especially on the road, can you take advantage of it? And we're a minute and 29 away from Quinnipiac being able to answer yes. And McGuire will take time out, as I think Lewis lost his footing coming back towards the ball.
Monmouth had a series against Siena a couple weeks back where Siena, we know how talented they are just a couple possessions back.
And Quinnipiac's defense so far has held up as that top scoring unit in the MAC. A chance to do something not a lot of MAC teams do, and that's go to the Ocean First Bank Center and win. Monmouth has done well here at home this year, 5-1 in league play in their arena. Minute 15 to go. Lewis, cross court. Williams will try another one. 65 seconds to go, and Hammond is fouled before the shot attempt.
That's a good job of defense by Monmouth. in that situation. They're being aggressive, but they were corralling and trapping and trying to force deflections and steals, but they weren't over aggressive where they fouled all the way at half court. They forced a shot that you would probably sign for in this situation, which was a three-pointer with the guy closing them out, and they did what they needed to do, and they're going to have to do it again, and then they're probably going to have to get some missed free throws too from the Bobcats.
Another one coming for Hammond. Well, Steve will see if it comes true, and it does. Monmouth forcing a turnover. Here's McClary able to finish to make it 72-68.
Another turnover. Monmouth takes advantage. They don't need to foul yet. Continue with the run and jump.
Lewis threw it away. He broke the press on his own, but not on the same page with Tyrese Williams.
That's just a veteran and experience. And when he becomes a veteran, he won't make that play. That one, he's got his dribble. He just goes full speed to break the press. That's where you got to circle that one back out and run some offense. Instead, he tried to throw a one-handed pass on the run.
And he's given Monmouth an opportunity in a 4-point game. They'll go to Hammond. Deion Hammond will get inside. Force one up.
Now you got to foul.
McGuire will flip it ahead to Rigoni. And there's the veteran play, just holding it up before Pappas gives the foul.
And Pappas didn't want to foul Rigoni. He knew what was on the stat sheet going into this game. Rigoni was a perfect 14 for 14 from the free throw line heading into this game.
And 7 of 8 here tonight.
Monmouth just, in some ways, left themselves just too much to do.
Missing the front end.
Still got a chance.
Here comes Chapu. Martin with 8 seconds. Knocks down the humongous three to make it 72-71.
Well, you still got a chance here. Eddie, going into this game, and again, a young player who's played a tremendous game this evening. Probably rather foul him than Rigoni, but like you said, Rigoni just missed the front end.
All 10 players on the one end of the floor. There's the inbound to Rigoni. Just over a second comes off the clock. So there's your set now. That foul, it's not 1-and-1. So Rigoni can kind of take the deep breath because double bonus time. So one of the best free throw shooters in the league now knows he has 2 regardless.
And Monmouth's got to have something drawn up here. I'm sure they did it. No timeouts left. I'm sure King Rice drew up something in the huddle for either a make or a miss, being down 1-2 or being down 3. And Rigoni.
One of the best free throw shooters in the league with the miss. He hadn't missed a free throw until the game tonight.
Completely changes the strategy here for Monmouth and for the defensive strategy for Quinnipiac.
He makes 1 of 2. Baker Dunleavy will talk it over. So Rigoni, middle, Seth Pinckney protecting the rim in case Monmouth tries to go for the 2.
And I think that's what Monmouth should initially try to do. Get to the rim, try to draw the defense, and collapse it, and then try to get a 3.
Pappas into Martin. Malik Martin to McClary for the tie is good. And the senior Marcus McClary ties the game.
You got to be careful here. If they try to screen the inbounder and flop, you don't want to foul him, contact him, and screen the guy guarding the basketball. You got to be careful on that one.
It'll be McGuire to inbound. Comes the football toss, and he threw it totally out of bounds. It didn't touch anyone, and Monmouth will be able to inbound under their own basket.
If Quinnipiac calls a timeout here, it's going to let King Rice draw up a play. Right now, they have no timeouts, and I don't think they should use it. Monmouth's got a great lob play that they like to run for Dion Hammond. Let's see if they run it here. I'm thinking Malik Martin's going to go and cross screen, and Hammond's going to circle around and try to get a lob. But they can still also catch and shoot.
Again, Monmouth hasn't led this game at any point. Hammond for the win. And we are headed to overtime.
Well, the cardboard cutouts gassed on that one too, Eddie. That was quite the finish to this game. And
tough to play against at home. 5 more minutes. It was pretty fun. I'm ready for 5 more. What do you say?
That was a great finish to this game and very exciting if you're a Monmouth Hawks fan. We'll see how Quinnipiac responds here and how they respond to some adversity after really controlling this game for most of it. A big first possession for them and take a lot of pressure off of them if they can get points.
Shinnery for 3. Gets the roll.
That's huge for them. That is a big-time play. First possession of overtime to get points back on the board and score on your first possession just makes them relax just a little bit.
Pappas around the screen, got Pinckney in the air, and he drew the foul.
Pappas might have traveled on that one. Coming off the curl, gets into the lane, but Pinckney was there and didn't really want to shoot it against the big guy. And Pappas did a great job of leaning in and drawing the contact. I thought he might have traveled.
Steve, I just looked up. It's Pinckney's 3rd foul. And I know I haven't seen a whole lot of Seth Pinckney this season, but he's done a great job of not picking up the ticky-tack fouls that you see big guys pick up.
Yeah, most of his stuff has been right around the rim, and,
right.
And that's where you want it to be. And you're right. They get a lot smaller when Pinckney goes out. They need him there contesting shots. Big play there for Monmouth after the Bobcats open with that 3-pointer from Shinnery. Shinnery's a good player.
Their leading scorer coming into play. He's got a game-high 17. Here he's going to catch and rip on the baseline. Chance for Monmouth to take its first lead of the game with 4 minutes to go in the first overtime. McClary, who just tied the game, he's the reason we're here. Martin, the face-up jumper.
That's a pretty good look from Malik Martin, who's been playing well. He's Monmouth's leading scorer. He's got 17 on 6 of 12 shooting.
He just misses the steal on Rigoni. It allows Rigoni to go all the way to the basket.
And takes himself out of the play. But he's made steals like that before this season. But somebody's got to pick him up and step up and not let Rigoni drive right to the rim and finish.
Martin steps back for 3 in the corner.
That's something we've talked about with Malik Martin a lot. Is I think in the past he's passed up open shots. Playing ultra confident right now. Wide open look there in that corner, which seems to be a comfortable spot for him. And he drains. Big time shot.
Tied game, 3 minutes to go. Lewis falls down. Rigoni and McClary one-on-one. Couple of seniors going at it. McClary the block. Here comes Martin. Bounces ahead to Hammond to the basket. Can't get it to go. Martin the cleanup and 1.
What a sequence. And there's the energy from the Monmouth bench. Rigoni on the post-up. McClary, great job of post defense. And then on the run out here, Malik Martin continues his great play.
What a game for senior Malik Martin. After a tremendous 2 games in Monmouth's sweep of Marist, he has answered with 23 points.
Just phenomenal performance by Malik Martin. And he was the one that found Marcus McClary on the shot that McClary knocked down at the end of regulation.
And Miles Ruth commits the foul on Tyrese Williams.
Sorry, Eddie, King Rice was going offense-defense there with Miles Ruth, and that one he got beat on. Looked like it was going to be a dribble handoff. Williams just kept it and turned the corner. So now he'll get to the free throw line. He's got to knock down some free throws and to keep Quinnipiac now in striking distance. What a turn of events this game has been. I know I keep saying it. In some ways I feel bad for the way Quinnipiac has finished this game because they've played so well and they were so impressive on the defensive end. But they've coughed the ball up 26 times and they've missed free throws. It really is the recipe for, dropping a game you probably should have won. And this game obviously isn't over yet, but a tough position right now on the road in overtime. Monmouth, a lot of momentum.
And leading 81-79. So Martin's been the featured player for Monmouth. "15 seconds to shoot. So Martin just puts the shoulder into Pinckney. It'll be an offensive foul on Monmouth's Malik Martin.
And I think that's a good call. I think that's a great job by...
Quite dramatically with 2:18 to go in overtime.
And Nikkei Ruddy checks in for him. He's been on the bench for a while. Big minutes here for Ruddy. And much needed defensive stop there for Quinnipiac.
Now Monmouth steals the inbounds. Quinnipiac another turnover.
And they just couldn't get the ball in.
It allows Monmouth with a 2-point lead the chance to run some time off the clock. Well, Steve, you said it. Quinnipiac has had chances, but the turnovers. And a whistle here with 1:51 to go.
The turnovers are going to be the thing that they circle in the box score here. That's their 27th turnover, and that is just inbounding the basketball. You got to be able to get open. And they have a couple timeouts left, too. You can burn a timeout if you need to. You shouldn't need to burn a timeout in that situation. You got to either get open yourself or screen a guy and get somebody else open. Pappas misses one there.
Yeah, we've seen each team miss big free throws in this game. So Williams out, they bring McGuire back in. Still a one-possession game. Savion Lewis was great going to the basket all game. Going to try and do it again. Chaput with great defense.
Chaput did a good job of staying in front of him. Baker Dunleavy wanted a foul, thought there was some contact. Chaput, great on-the-ball defense. Lewis is going to be a good player for them.
12 seconds for Monmouth, taking some time with a 3-point lead. McClary in the corner. Marcus McClary, big shot after big shot.
Ice water, Marcus McClary. And great look, too, by Chaput.
Chenery short. And a foul on McGuire with 56 and 4/10 seconds left.
It's just been a stunning turn of events here in West Long Branch, and you got to credit the Monmouth Hawks for staying with it. We were in the middle of a Rigoni foul shot where I was saying Monmouth left themselves too much to do. And then Rigoni missed the free throw. Monmouth came down and scored. They got more turnovers. They got more missed free throws. And they took advantage. They converted. And you got to give them a lot of credit.
When you think about, this game and Baker Dunleavy looks up at the scoreboard, Monmouth didn't have the smoothest first half, didn't have the first 10 minutes of the second half go the way they probably would have wanted. but it's tough to beat a good team at home. And Quinnipiac did pretty much everything they had to do except take care of the basketball late. They opened the door for Monmouth's Marcus McClary.
They certainly did, and there was a lot of great moments in this game for Quinnipiac. And I thought initially they started the game with more of a sense of urgency than Monmouth. They were more physical. They were playing great defense. They were forcing Monmouth to turn the basketball over. And that kind of really held serve until deep into the second half. Monmouth just got enough plays late. I thought George Pappas came in and made some huge plays. Hit a three, got fouled shooting a three, almost knocked one in from the corner. Remember, George Pappas also stole an inbounds pass. Pappas made some big plays when he came back into this one.
Lewis went 1 out of 2. Chaput, Ruddy able to save it, and then there's the foul. That's a pretty wild save by Nikkei Ruddy to keep it Monmouth's possession.
I'm pretty sure he saved that between his legs,
that's
right?
That's what it looked like.
It looked like Andre Agassi when he was running down the ball and putting it between his legs.
Well, Chaput throws it ahead, and Ruddy with the hustle.
It's great. Does that age me that I just referenced Andre Agassi?
Yes, but I appreciate it. That hustle means that Hammond's shooting free throws in a 2-possession game, and Quinnipiac's not inbounding the ball with that same score.
Absolutely. A huge play. Roger Federer, he does it too.
He does, but I'm with you on Agassi.
Yeah.
He made it cool. What a remarkable turnaround in this game that Monmouth leads 88-80 with 30 seconds to go in overtime. Inbounds to Hammond, and he's fouled.
Hammond going to the line here. And Hammond really didn't play that great of an efficient ball game. 17 points, 5 of 21, 2 of 9 from the outside. Other guys picked up the slack for the Hawks in this one. Malik Martin, 23 points, really the story for Monmouth. Made some enormous plays, some enormous shots. Remember, Monmouth was also down 3 in this overtime, and he hit a 3 to tie the game early on in this overtime.
And just when you think you have a game kind of figured out, it goes and takes a wild turn like this one did. And really, when you break this one down, Steve, is Rigoni will hoist up a 3. Ruddy with the rebound. It was Quinnipiac with some opportunities late in regulation that they couldn't finish. It opened the door, and then Monmouth has, behind Marcus McClary and Malik Martin and company, put themselves in position to win another home game.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow on the Quinnipiac side. They came out here and they really competed and were physical with Monmouth and were in control of the game. They were playing better than the Monmouth Hawks in this one for probably about 37, 38 minutes. The turnovers crept back up on them. Being young, you have guys like Savion Lewis who played a tremendous game here, but he turned the ball over late on that one where he broke the press and then threw that one-handed pass out of bounds. Rigoni, the veteran, you rely on him to make big free throws late. He missed them. He missed a front end. He missed 1 of 2, and that's what set up the tie where McClary hit the shot. And I got to admit, Eddie, in some ways I feel really bad for Baker Dunleavy, his staff, and his players, because they came out here and played excellent, and Monmouth stole one. You have to give Monmouth all the credit in the world for guys stepping up around Dion Hammond, making plays, getting turnovers, taking advantage of that door being left open.
Well, Monmouth's Marcus McClary tied it at the end of regulation. He hit a huge shot in overtime. And Monmouth didn't lead this game until overtime.